90 days feels like a long time when you're in it. It feels short when you're looking back. But here's what most people are getting wrong. They're so focused on what should happen in 90 days that they miss what's actually happening when you do the work correctly. This episode is about the difference. I've watched people move through 90-day windows over and over again. Some come out transformed, some come out exhausted, but the difference isn't how they work, it's what they were working on. So today, I'm breaking down what actually shifts in 90 days when the focus is right and why it doesn't happen by accident. When you're scrolling online, everybody is telling you 90 days is the magic window. 90 days to build your empire, 90 days to go viral, 90 days to make six figures, 90 days to finally have it figured out. The myth is that something happens on day 91. Like you wake up and suddenly everything's different. Quick wins, momentum, the breakthrough moment, check the box progress. That's what people are chasing when they commit to 90 days. But here's the reality. Here's what I've actually watched happen. 90 days is not the window where something magically shifts on day 91. It's the window where invisible work actually becomes visible. You're not building fast, you're building correctly, and that's a completely different thing. So the transformation doesn't really happen overnight. It starts to compound on day 1. And that looks totally different from day 30. But day 90, you're unrecognizable. Not because you've actually hustled harder, but because you finally have a clear path on where you're going. And here's the thing that nobody talks about. Day 91 doesn't feel like a finish line. It feels like the start of something that actually works. 90 days of random effort is not the same as 90 days of structured transformation. One is going to exhaust you, the other one is actually building something. Now, let's talk about what's actually changing underneath. This is the good stuff. Let me start with positioning because this is where everything starts. On day 1, you're doing a lot of things and they're all working, which is actually the problem. You're not sure which part of your work is actually your thing. You have clients who pay you for different reasons. You can't explain what you do in a way that feels honest and specific. You sound just like everyone else in your space. But by day 90, you know exactly what the work is that only you can do. You can talk about it without sounding generic. Your ideal client immediately recognizes themselves in what you're saying. You're not trying to be everything to everybody. You're truly focused on what actually matters. Over the course of the 90 days, people have stopped asking you, "What do you do?" And now they start saying, "Yep, this person is for me." What this means for your business is clients find you faster because you're not hiding in a sea of generic language. You're not explaining yourself constantly. People either get it or they don't, and you're okay with both. The work feels less like hustling and more like serving the right people. Next is your offer, what you're actually selling. Day 1, you have multiple price points because you're not sure what people will pay. You're offering so many different things to different people and calling it quote unquote flexibility. Your packages feel even unclear to you. You're leaving money on the table because you don't trust your value. You're negotiating on price because your offer isn't clear enough. But by day 90, you know exactly what you're selling, why it costs what it costs. Your offer is so defined that people either invest or they don't. And you're not trying to justify your price. People understand it immediately. You're not creating custom packages for everyone to fit into your framework. Either they fit or they don't. And here's the shift that's going to happen. In your conversations, it's going to feel like qualifications, not convincing people. What this means for your business is you can make more money. And of course, it's not because you're busier. It's because your offer is extremely clear. You're no longer negotiating yourself down. The clients who invest are more committed because they know that what they're getting is of value. You have energy left over because you're not constantly explaining your value. And then there's decision making, and this is a huge one. Day 1 sounds like, should I take this client? And then you think about it for days. Should you launch this new thing? Everyone has an opinion on what you should do. And you're asking yourself, wait a minute, is this an opportunity that I should pursue? And of course, you're torn. Every decision from you requires overthinking because you don't know what actually matters at this point. You're saying yes to things that you actually should be saying no to, and it is draining you. By day 90, you know immediately if something fits. You say no without guilt because you know what you're building. Opportunities that aren't aligned do not tempt you anymore. You're making decisions in minutes now instead of weeks. And here's what's going to shift about your business: your business is going to run lighter because you're no longer carrying doubt. You stop wasting time on wrong fit work. You're not constantly questioning yourself. You say yes to the right things faster. Your energy goes toward building, not second guessing. And this is where a lot of you start to feel sane again. And this part is really going to blow your mind. On day one, your ideal client could be anyone because you've worked with so many different people. You're serving a client who can't actually afford you. You're trying to help everyone because you don't want to leave money on the table. Your messaging is trying to speak to all of these different people and they end up speaking to no one. And so you actually end up being confused about who you're actually good at helping. And now by day 90, you know exactly who it is that you serve and who you don't. You can describe that person without guessing. Your messaging speaks so clear and directly to them. You're not trying to convince people that you can help. The right people know immediately. And so, what's going to shift here is the ideal client recognizes themselves in every single thing that you say. What this means for your business is qualified prospects are now going to start attracting to you. So, you're going to stop wasting time on people who are never going to work out anyway. Your content resonates because you're talking to someone, not at everyone. You're attracting clients who actually fit, not just anyone who says yes. And then there's how you're perceived. On day one, people see your success, but they don't understand why you're successful in what it is that you do. You're the hardworking one, the hustling one, the one doing all the things. People respect you, but they don't get quite yet just what makes you different. And so you have to keep proving yourself. You're performing competence instead of actually demonstrating it. So by day 90, once you make this shift, people see clarity in how you move and how you talk. You're not explaining, you're demonstrating, and your ideal client feels the difference immediately. You're no longer the one option among many, you're the option for a specific person. And so people start asking you for advice instead of you offering it to them. And so, what does this look like for your business? You're known for something, not just known as someone who works hard. Authority builds naturally, and it is not a forced thing. Your ideal client seeks you out, and your collaborations and partnerships happen naturally because people see you clearly. And here's the thing about day 91 and beyond: everything from here on out compounds on an even clearer foundation. Your next offer is going to be evolved from something solid, and it's definitely not going to be something that you have to guess about. Your next client is easier to work with because they're actually your ideal client. Your next move, if any, is strategic and is no longer reactive. Your growth continues to accelerate because you stop spinning your wheels. And so now what you're building is actually lasting and it makes sense moving forward. And here's why I need to be honest about why 90 days does not change anything if you're just going to continue doing what you have already done. This requires intentional structure, not a 90-day challenge or sprint. Those are vanity metrics. I'm talking about actual strategic work. So, intentional structure looks like weekly clarity work. You're refining your positioning, you're testing your ideal client definition, you're questioning your offer, you're asking, is this still true for me? Is this still aligned? Is this a one time thing at day one, or is it ongoing refinement? The next one is consistent execution. And again, the work that proves your positioning, you're not just thinking about your offer, you're actually delivering it. You can't just say who you serve, you're actually serving them in real time. The execution is what reveals whether you were clear on what it is that you actually do or if it was just a nice to have idea. Whether you're working with clients or building in public, you're testing your framework in the real world. And this is where you found out if what you think is true is actually true. If you're checking in quarterly, you should be asking yourself what actually shifted in this quarter? What's still unclear? What needs to change? And please do not avoid asking the hard questions. Again, this is about strategy and not a quick flip hustle. Most people, and I have to be honest, most people are skipping this part because they want the result without the work. And then they wonder why 90 days didn't change anything. Again, you cannot say that you want change and you're still continuing to operate in a way that was no longer serving you to begin with. The people who actually commit to this, they're completely different on the other side. I had a client who really struggled with the idea of having too many offers in her store, and it was almost too many to count. By 90 days, we had stripped everything out of her store and basically consolidated all of those mini offers into one large offer. By the end of it, she was able to make 3 high ticket sales. She stopped taking wrong fit clients, she raised her rate, and she made a decision that she wasn't able to make before. And of course, she was able to attract better fitting clients. Here's what I want you to know. If you're wondering whether 90 days is actually working, you don't have to wait until day 91 to know. There are indicators along the way that'll tell you. The first one is, can you describe what you do in one sentence? Not a polished way, but genuinely, if someone asks you what you do, can you say it clearly without overthinking? The next one is, are you saying no to things that do not fit? And this is a huge one because if you're still saying yes to everything, you still haven't gotten clear on what matters. The next one is, are your sales conversions easier or harder? If they're easier, it means you're clearer. If it's harder, you're still explaining and still convincing and still performing. The next one is your ideal client finding you? Or are you still chasing anyone who says yes? Can you make a yes or no decision in minutes instead of weeks? Your decision making speed is the best indicator of whether you're clear or not. Do you feel like you're proving yourself or demonstrating your mastery? And again, this is about your internal state. So if you feel lighter, more certain, and less desperate, you're clearly on the right path. And the last question is, what are people actually asking you? And this is where you need to pay attention to your data. Are they asking for advice in your specific lane, or are they still asking generic questions? These are real metrics. If you're tracking these, you'll know by day 45 whether 90 days is working. I know for a fact there's someone listening right now who's tried all the quick fixes before. You've gone to all these different webinars, courses, you probably had a couple of coaches, and you're just like, wait a minute, something is still off. I can't put my finger on it. And now you're wondering, is 90 days actually different, or is this just another thing that won't work? And here's what I can tell you from watching hundreds of founders and people I have consulted. The ones who commit to 90 days of intentional work look completely different on day 91. And again, it is not because they hustle harder, it's because they are extremely clear on their path. The clarity changes everything. And here's the thing that nobody's going to tell you, it's not that day 91 is a finish line. Is that day 91 is where you can finally see the foundation that you have been building. And once you see it, everything after that is going to compound for you. Your business changes in the next 90 days, whether you're intentional about it or not. So, again, when people are in rush mode, they're, desperate to make a sale and they don't understand 90 days was going to come whether you wanted it to or not. So, why don't we spend more intention around creating a path? So, the question is, what do you actually want to build? If you want that transformation to be strategic instead of accidental, if you want it to come out with a clear path instead of just more hustle, then you know what you need. 90 days isn't magic and it's not a shortcut, but it's a window where you can do the right work consistently enough that it actually shifts the foundation of your business. You'll get clarity on what you need to do. You know your offer, you know who you serve, you make decisions faster, and people perceive you differently. And a byproduct of that is actually attracting revenue in those 90 days. Most people are so focused on quick wins that they miss what a 90-day window of strategic work will actually build for them. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building something that actually compounds, this is what I'm here for. My brand development intensive is a 90-day immersion where we do exactly this work. We get you clear on your positioning, your offer, and your new ideal client. And again, we're removing the guessing in this season. It is a new month, it is a new season, and it is time to get to work. So we rebuild your foundation with you. And on day 91, you're not just wondering if it worked, you already know. Remember, 90 days is going to come whether you're intentional or not. See you on the next episode.